If your legs feel heavy and tired by mid-afternoon, not from anything you did, not from a long walk or a hard day, just that dull, achy heaviness that settles in by the time you sit down for dinner, that is your circulation telling you something specific. And the reason most people never fix it is not because they have not tried. It is because they keep reaching for the wrong things. There are 3 specific compounds your blood vessels actually need to function well, and most supplements on the market do not contain them in the doses that matter. That changes today. Poor circulation in the legs is not just uncomfortable. It is a sign that your blood vessels are struggling, either too narrow, too stiff, or lacking the chemical signals they need to stay open and relaxed. Blood is not moving through your legs the way it should, and over time that shows up as coldness in the feet, swelling around the ankles, skin that looks slightly discolored, and that heavy, tired feeling that never quite goes away. Understanding why this happens is the first step to fixing it. Your blood vessels are not passive tubes. They have muscular walls that tighten and relax constantly in response to signals from your body. When those walls tighten too much, blood flow slows. When the walls become stiff from calcium buildup over time, they lose their ability to respond the way they should. And when the body runs low on certain nutrients, it loses its ability to produce the signaling molecules that tell those vessel walls to relax in the first place. All 3 of these problems are real. All 3 are fixable, and each of the 3 compounds I am going to walk you through addresses one of them directly. The first is niacin, vitamin B3. I think of niacin as the cleanup crew because it goes after 2 of the biggest problems in sluggish circulation at the same time. It widens the blood vessels and it improves the flow of blood through them by making it less thick and sticky. The form matters here. You want the flushing form of niacin, also called nicotinic acid. There are non-flushing versions available. Inositol hexanicotinate is the most common, and while they are popular because they avoid the temporary redness and warmth, they do not produce the same vessel widening effect. The flush is not a side effect to be avoided. It is the compound working, rapidly opening up the small capillaries and vessels near the surface of the skin. It feels like a warm flush across your face, neck, and chest, and it typically lasts 15 to 30 minutes. It is harmless, and for most people it fades significantly within a few weeks of consistent use. Start at 250 milligrams once a day with a meal. After 2 weeks, if you are tolerating it well, you can move to 500 milligrams once a day. That is the range where the circulation benefit becomes meaningful. Do not go higher without talking to your doctor first, particularly if you have any liver concerns or if you are on cholesterol or blood pressure medication, because niacin at therapeutic doses is powerful enough to interact with those. The reason niacin works so well comes down to 2 things it does in the body. First, it triggers the release of signaling molecules that cause the muscular walls of your arteries to relax, a process called vasodilation. Think of it as widening a 2-lane road into a 4-lane highway. The same amount of blood moves faster with less effort from the heart, and it reaches the legs and feet more effectively. Second, niacin changes the quality of the blood itself, making it less viscous so it flows more smoothly through those widened vessels. Less resistance, better flow. That is why people who use niacin correctly often notice their feet feel warmer within the first week or 2. Now, wide vessels alone are not enough if those vessels have become stiff and rigid over time. That is where the second compound comes in, and it is one most people have never heard of in this context. Vitamin K2, specifically the MK7 form, is what I call the flexibility fixer. Here is how to think about it. A brand new rubber hose bends easily and handles pressure without any problem. An old brittle plastic pipe cracks under the same pressure and barely lets water through. Over time, calcium can accumulate in the walls of your arteries, not because you are eating too much calcium, but because the body loses its ability to direct calcium to the right places. Instead of going to bone, it deposits in soft tissue, including artery walls. The result is arterial stiffness, vessels that cannot expand and contract the way they should, which directly limits circulation. K2 MK7 activates a protein in the body called matrix GLA protein, which acts like a biological vacuum for misplaced calcium. It pulls calcium out of the artery walls and redirects it back to the bones where it belongs. The result over time is softer, more flexible vessels that respond properly to circulation demands. The dose is 100 to 300 micrograms of the MK7 form daily, taken with a meal that contains some healthy fat, because K2 is fat soluble and absorbs much better that way. If you are on a blood thinner like warfarin, you need to speak with your doctor before adding K2 because it is involved in the clotting process and can affect how those medications work. This is not optional. It is a necessary conversation. One important clarification, K1 and K2 are not the same thing. K1 found in leafy greens supports blood clotting. K2-MK7 is what works on the vessels. Check your supplement label carefully and make sure it says K2-MK7. The third compound pulls everything together, and there is a timing detail with this one that makes a real difference in how well it works. Vitamin C in higher doses than most people take is the essential fuel for your body's most powerful vessel relaxing signal, nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a molecule your blood vessel lining produces naturally. When it is released, it signals the vessel walls to relax and widen immediately. It is the most effective natural vasodilator your body has, but your body can only produce and maintain nitric oxide well when it has enough vitamin C. Without adequate vitamin C, nitric oxide breaks down too quickly and the signal weakens. The dose that makes a difference here is 1,000 milligrams, taken once or twice a day. The standard 60 milligrams in a multivitamin does nothing for vascular function. For the form, buffered vitamin C or liposomal vitamin C are better choices than plain ascorbic acid at these doses because they are gentler on the stomach and absorb more reliably. Now here's the timing detail. Take your vitamin C in the morning, and if you are taking a second dose, no later than early afternoon. Do not take it in the evening. At higher doses, vitamin C can have a mild stimulating effect that interferes with sleep for some people, and sleep is already difficult enough for many people over 60 without adding to the problem. More importantly, your vascular system needs nitric oxide support most during the day when you are up, moving, and asking your legs and muscles to work. Front-loading your vitamin C ensures that support is there when your body actually needs it. A lot of people assume a multivitamin covers all of this. It does not. A standard multivitamin typically contains around 20 milligrams of niacin. You need 250 to 500. It may contain a few micrograms of K1. You need 100 to 300 micrograms of K2-MK7 specifically, and it usually has 60 milligrams of vitamin C. You need 1,000. The doses in multivitamins are calibrated to prevent nutritional deficiency, not to support therapeutic vascular function. They are not the same goal. One patient I think about often is a woman named Carol, 67, who had been dealing with heavy, tired legs and cold feet for years. She had tried several supplements with no real results. Once she started niacin at the right dose and form, added K2-MK7, and moved her vitamin C dose earlier in the day, she noticed within about 6 weeks that her legs felt lighter by evening and her feet were no longer constantly cold. It was not dramatic overnight, but it was consistent and it held. Recent research supports what we are seeing clinically. Studies published in the last few years have confirmed that adequate K2 intake is associated with measurably less arterial stiffness in older adults. Separate research on niacin has reinforced its role in improving blood viscosity and peripheral circulation. And the connection between vitamin C and nitric oxide availability is now well established in vascular medicine. The most important thing to take away from everything here is this: poor leg circulation in people over 60 usually has 3 specific fixable components: vessel constriction, arterial stiffness, and insufficient nitric oxide signaling. Niacin, K2-MK7, and properly timed vitamin C each address one of those directly. This is not about throwing things at the wall. It is a targeted approach with a clear rationale. If you want one action to take today, go check the supplements you currently have, look at the niacin dose, the K form, and how much vitamin C you are actually getting. If the numbers are far below what we discussed, you now know exactly what to change and why. If you have a spouse, a parent, or a friend who deals with cold feet, heavy legs, or circulation problems, please share this with them. A lot of people quietly accept this as just part of getting older, and it does not have to be. If this kind of practical, honest health information is helpful to you, consider subscribing. I put out straightforward advice every week, and I would genuinely love to keep helping you. And before you go, I want to hear from you. Have you tried niacin, K2, or high-dose vitamin C before? Did you notice a difference? Or is this the first time you are hearing about these 3 together? Tell me in the comments. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to read today.